They beat the Steelers yesterday, a dominating win. They beat a good team, a very good team in the Steelers, and they did it in dominating fashion. And now the number one overall seed has opened up with the Lions losing yesterday. I'll make this statement from the start. The Eagles are the best team in the National Football League and are the clear favorite to win the Super Bowl. Clear favorite to win the Super Bowl because they are as well-rounded a team as anybody in the NFL. The offense showed you yesterday that they need to be a passing offense. They can very much be a passing offense. We've seen Saquon Barkley, who got injured yesterday a little bit. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. But we've seen the running offense be dominant. Special teams, Jake Elliott hit all his field goals, hit all his extra points yesterday. So you have what we call in the business as complimentary football, and they're doing it better than anybody in the NFL. Let's start with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith and that offensive line. Jalen Hurts yesterday was fantastic. We had seen him be very efficient and did what he needed to do to win games in the passing offense because, honestly, they weren't asking him to do a lot of things. It hadn't been a great run for Jalen Hurts in the passing offense in recent weeks. But what they did yesterday, what Jalen did yesterday, 25 of 32, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, passer rating 125.3. AJ had over 100 receiving yards. DeVonta had over 100 receiving yards. Both had touchdowns. DeVonta had a career high in catches yesterday. And the offense looked unbelievable. The passing offense looked great. The rushing offense yesterday, it didn't look great. Doesn't need to. The rushing, passing doesn't need to be great every week at the same time. They looked fantastic yesterday. And Jalen Hurts reminded a lot of people that when they need to throw the ball and they need to be a passing offense, they can do it. He was decisive yesterday. They were getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He was confident throwing the ball down the field. It was a really, really good performance from Jalen Hurts and company. During their 10-game winning streak, Jalen Hurts, for all the crap that he takes, right? And I think if you go back and you look at my record of what I said about Jalen Hurts, and there's a clip that I put out there a couple weeks ago, and it was after the, oh man, well, Jalen Hurts he's holding the team back, and this team can't win a Super Bowl with the way Jalen Hurts is playing, and Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball well enough, and once you get to the playoffs, you can't run the ball everywhere. And I had said, listen, I'd seen Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl throw the football very well, and I saw him in 2022 throw the football very well. It was up to Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore to get the passing offense going. They had gone so long with them not needing to do that. They didn't need to throw the ball 40 times a game. They didn't need to say, hey, Jalen, you got to sit back there and win games with your arm. They didn't need to do that. And Jalen showed yesterday that when push comes to shove, he can throw the ball, and he can throw the ball fine, more than fine, to win games. During their 10-game winning streak, Jalen Hurts, they've won 10 straight games. They could win 13 games. They could win out into the playoffs. During the Eagles' 10-game winning streak, 26 total touchdowns, 3 turnovers, 1,962 passing yards, 426 rushing yards, and a 10-0 record. The Eagles are not winning in spite of Jalen Hurts, as some people would have tried to make you believe just a couple weeks ago. They're winning very much because of Jalen Hurts and because they have a very, very good team. All right, let's talk about the defense for a second. Number 1 ranked defense, dominating again yesterday. They held the Steelers to 163 total yards. Now, to put that in perspective, that is the fewest amount of yards that the Steelers have gained since 2011. 13 years since the Steelers have gained that few yards in a game. 163 total yards, outgained the Steelers 401 to 163. That's the biggest yardage differential by any team over the Steelers in 26 years. The performance yesterday by the Eagles against a very good Steelers team, a dominating defensive Steelers team, was nothing short of fantastic. They held the Steelers to 2 total yards in the first quarter. So think about what happened. You had a fumble and you had another fumble. It was right there for the Eagles to blow that game in the first quarter, giving the Steelers the ball right there to score early points. And then it's like, oh my God, what's going on here? No, the defense stepped right up. They did. Look at the first quarter. All right. Steelers punt after getting pretty much no yards. Eagles kick a field goal. Steelers punt again, and then there's a fumble. There's a fumble. But they get nothing out of it. The Steelers literally get nothing out of it. All right, then there's the punt and the fumble. And again, they're held, and the Steelers kick a field goal, and they get 3 points. They could have given up a touchdown on one of those drives. They could have given up 2 field goals. They could have given up 2 touchdowns in that drive. They did not. The defense, especially early, made sure that the Steelers weren't getting an early jump on it. First in the NFL in yards per game, the Eagles defense. Second in the NFL in points per game, the Eagles defense. And they dominated the Steelers yesterday once again. Nolan Smith, another sack, 2 tackles for a loss. How about Josh Sweat, who a lot of people look at and said, oh, man, well, he's not living up to that contract. Man, Josh Sweat has 8 sacks now on the season and is very, very good. He may have double-digit sacks once again yesterday. And then the rest of the guys, from Nakobe Dean to Zach Bond, who had another good game yesterday, to everybody across the defensive line, to everybody in the secondary, they just lock guys down week after week. This defense, I mean, honestly, the biggest shock of anything, I knew Saquon Barkley was going to have a big year. You had to expect the Eagles offense was going to have a good year. They're talented. They have 2 great receivers. They have Jalen Hurts. This defense, being the number 1 ranked defense in football, is shocking. And the way that they're doing it week after week it's amazing. Since the bye week, I don't think they've given up more than 20 points in a game. Their defense hasn't given up more than 20 points in a game. They're unbelievable.